right. I'm going to, do we have everybody here, all the board members?
Education quality standards with this model here. Right. So that's really important.
I see Mark.
Really understand that if we get our budget to the place the state says we're supposed to be at, we're not excess spending. We are not meeting the state's educational quality standards. Right. So just make sure anyone who's listening to that.
Let me turn this off here.
Yeah. That's your other meeting? See, now I can't hear you. I don't know. We're gonna have trouble, but let's see.
Yes, it was, but I'm gonna mute so that you don't hear me unless you need me.
Okay. All right, I see Vincent and Mark. I don't see Sarah unless she's the 09 person. BJ shared the cut slide.
Anne Marie, can you hear us now from the owl?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
And I got your email. I'm just having trouble because I hit the wrong button. Okay.
So Meet is telling me that it can't use my camera. Can I be heard?
I can hear you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
We can hear you at school, Mark.
Just like the olden days. You're going.
I think we're still missing Sarah. Does anybody see if Sarah's on or? Vince,
Sarah is not on.
Vince, do you mind sending her a text? I don't have her number handy.
Yeah, I can do that. I just talked to her, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Hold on here. Okay, I just sent a message.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find my. Here it is on my other tab.
She said she's on by phone.
Oh, okay. So she's the 09 number. Okay. All right. Great.
I'll ask her to speak so we can make sure. Yeah, 5509. That would be her. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to call the meeting to order then. This is the Weathersfield School Board special budget meeting for January 15th at 6:34. I don't think we need to do the pledge and everything. Let's just get right into the budget. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I've gotten several emails regarding Four Winds, some emails regarding other cuts, and some emails regarding just general concern about the budget. Now, I spoke with Brian about Four Winds, and I don't think it was ever anyone's intention to actually cut the program, just to fund it differently, maybe to do grants or fundraisers to fund it. I just want to let everybody out there who's worried about it know that that's not the intention. I see Sarah's on. Okay. Can you speak, Sarah, just so we can make sure we can hear you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. Great.
Okay, I tried to do it by audio, and for some reason you couldn't hear me, but I could hear everything you were saying. So
okay,
I'm in. Thank you.
Great. That's good. Okay. So it seems like we do need to make some cuts. I want to make them as painless as possible. So I guess.
I just want to chime in and say, overall, the slide that we saw last night regarding like the the differences in your property, in potential differences in your property taxes over the course of the three options. In some cases were $100 or $200 a year. And I don't think there's anyone in this town or connected to this school that would want us to make this many cuts or all of these cuts, to avoid paying a couple hundred extra dollars a year. So my proposal is we send the budget through as written originally.
Originally.
Yeah.
Would it be helpful to have those slides up again with what it does to your tax rate or home?
Yeah, I think so.
And then, go ahead.
Do you want to do that, Brian? Do you have that up?
Larry had changed it, so I can go look for it on mine and see.
I have it if you want me to do it.
Yeah, if you don't mind
Okay.
sharing that, so I can
Okay,
stop
I can
sharing
do
this
it.
one.
Yeah.
But let me, before you take that off, so Steam Cam, which we did $19,492 for, that is gonna be taken over by Pause. So that one can still be a cut, no matter what, because they are going to, we talked to our Pause director, and they sort of took it over last year, but then they're definitely gonna take it over and can self-fund it this year.
Great.
So I would like to keep that one as a cut, because we can make that happen.
Okay.
Yep.
What was there were a couple other,
Do you want me to explain those other cuts that we?
yeah, if you want to
potential
just
cuts?
go
Yeah.
over them.
So Holbert is the 8th grade trip that our 8th graders take at the start of the year. So we had put on that as a potential cut. Scholastic News is something that our classrooms get. And it's something that they've done for years, but it might be time to do something different. It's a little bit more cost manageable. Steam Camp, like I mentioned, is on there as far as taking that off. And then we do supply extra custodial help during the summertime. But our custodians are amazing, and so they can do it with just one less person who's there during that summer help. So that would be a savings. So those items on there would be a savings of roughly a little over $30,000 if we decided that it's like $31,000 if we took those off and added those on there. Or
I'm just gonna-
added those to the cut list. So
I'm just going to jump in and say, as a student who attended Hulbert, I would hate that our 8th graders could not do that program. It's absolutely amazing. And I think $3,300 it can be raised.
yeah,
You
well,
know,
it would just be taken out of the budget, and then
Yeah.
I think we would try to figure out other ways to be able to raise it, because I definitely wouldn't want our students to miss that as well.
Right.
I didn't personally get to go on it and still haven't gone
Yeah.
on it because my own students didn't want me to go with them. They wanted to have their own experience, by golly. And so I'm hoping to go still, and I know that the kids, that's one of those bonding moments that they have as an 8th grade class, and it's pretty amazing.
I went as an 8th grader, and it was the best close to junior high.
So,
yep.
And our kids started off at the start of the year, so it starts off their 8th grade year and really brings that group of kids together. So I agree with you, Vince, 100%. And we would find a way to do it, but if we need to cut something from the budget, that's why it's on there. But we'll figure out other means if we need to.
Mm-hmm. I see that Four Winds is no longer on the list of cuts. I thought that was maybe going to try to be fundraised or grant raised.
So what we can do is we are going to try to be able to figure out a way to get that. We have professional ed services, and that is where that category is for Four Winds, but there's other things in there, but we would definitely find the money. So we still left that initial cut. So I want to be totally transparent. We left that initial cut on there, still the $3,000, but it's not labeled Four Winds because there are other items in there. But we would still be able to have our students go to or participate in Four Winds. That is definitely something that is a student favorite, and it's a great way to bring in volunteers from our community. We have one of those volunteers here sitting with us right now. And so he can also talk about how valuable that is as a community member to be able to have that experience with our students. Not
Okay.
trying to put you on the spot, but
I'm pretty new to this.
you are new to it, but you love it.
So I really don't have a good handle on the value.
Yeah,
I think everything like that has some value, whether
Absolutely.
it's worth the 3,000, it's subjective.
yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, cutting it created its own little wind.
Yes, it did. It created a fifth win. Sorry.
Anne Marie, Sarah has a hand raised.
I see. Go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you. I am also a Four Winds volunteer, and I think I've received probably 8 emails today. People
Yeah.
not happy that that could go away. So I really think that's not an option.
Yeah,
But-
I don't think any plan was ever to have Four Winds go away, just to have it funded differently, similar to the Holbert situation. We can get grants or do fundraising.
Okay, but what about if we don't? So, I mean, I just hate to back us in a corner with that. I mean, it's a little higher than it was the other day with 77,000 instead of 46. But when you look at the chart that Vince was talking about, that little bit of percentage and the little bit of change in the taxes is really not worth what we're cutting. I mean, even athletics alone, 5,000. I mean, as it is now, we don't have money for jerseys, the Four Winds. I don't see that there's large cost savings. And it is direct impact to the students. So I'm with Vince where I think we need to just send it to the town as is. And hope that our school community will support.
Okay. Mark, what is your feeling? Do you want to?
Can we go back to the previous slide?
I also wanted to ask.
The last two are absolutely out for me.
Yeah. So you mean the cutting the teachers and the paras and the SEI?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're really dedicated to, and we are, I mean, Four Winds is definitely coming back. I'd still like some clarification. So what, I guess my question is, if we were able to do the 10-3, where do we think the STEAM camp funds might come from?
So that would come out through pause. This past summer, we did charge a small amount because it is considered a camp, and we actually got a better turnout for it. People took more ownership, and sometimes when you spend a little bit of money, it's still a bargain for students to be able to attend a camp. And so we had a great amount of kids that did it. And so we anticipate that that's going to happen again with the right marketing tool and the right people in charge of it. So we're pretty confident that we can do that through pause.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm okay with the 10-3, with the assurances that we have.
Sarah?
Can you just clarify the night custodian thing? Because I thought that, so is that eliminating a night custodian completely?
That would be eliminating a night custodian completely right now at that 21,187. That would be that one position, that 5-hour position that would be gone. And then the summer custodian is the extra help that we get for cleaning the school during the summertime.
So for the night custodian, we'd also talked about the possibility of just cutting it back to 3.5 hours. What does that savings look like?
Yeah, is there someone plugging some maybe potentially different numbers into a spreadsheet now so that we can see that? Is that an option? Is Larry on?
Larry is on in Heartland and I can pull him right over if we need
Okay.
him. So let me, as soon as you need him, I'll just text him and have him.
I'm just
come over.
thinking if we're gonna make
Yeah.
if we're gonna pick and choose a few items out of that list, let's plug them into the spreadsheet and see where we end up.
Absolutely.
I'll call him over.
Okay. And Brian, what would I'm second guessing my endorsement of the 10-3. What would the elimination of the night custodian do to the functioning of the school?
So what it would do is we wouldn't have an extra person at night. We'd probably have to shift some hours around and see what we can do and how we can best fill it, because I am concerned about safety. I'm going to go back to that with the safety of only having one person in here in the building at night. I don't feel 100% comfortable with it. Have I done that at other schools? Yes, I have, but it never feels good to be the only person left in the building. We got a great building, but it's a little creepy at night. I'm going to be honest with you, when you're in here by yourself. So that would put more work on our current custodians. So that is a concern of mine, but that's the one where it gets the furthest away from the classroom.
That is a extremely risky cut to make and a potentially
agree.
liability issue.
Yeah, if
for
we did
us.
the 3.5, would we have coverage so that someone wouldn't need to be there on their own?
Yeah, what we would do is we would just shift the current custodian's hours so that they would still end at 6 o'clock or
Okay.
7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We would adjust it so that they both end at the same time. Because I like it when I don't let anybody walk out of the building by themselves when I'm here. And I agree with that. So 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I'd be much more comfortable with that option instead of cutting back to a single person working on their own in the facility at night. I'm rescinding my endorsement of the 10-3.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to a different scenario real quick. If we took out just the STEAM camp portion, our tax increase would be 11.1 instead of 11.7.
Yeah. I'm not against taking out the STEAM camp if it can be paid for through pause.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It will be.
I'm also
Yeah,
not
I mean,
against
it'd be
the
nice if
summer-
Larry could jump
and
on.
for the summer custodian. I don't know, do kids use Scholastic? I wish we had our younger member of the school board on. I mean, I remember Scholastic News when I was a kid, but I don't know if the kids still care.
My son loves his and brings it home.
Does he? Okay, well, that's
Yep.
good to know.
Yeah, we're fully on board with that here as well.
You guys your kids like the Scholastic. Okay, all right. As long as the kids are still enjoying it, if they're just throwing it out and looking at, going on their iPhones, then that's another thing. But yeah, if they're using it, then that's great.
Is Larry there? He's in the building. So I sent him over. He may just be walking down the hall.
Okay, so he's coming in just a
Yeah,
second.
he's coming. Yeah.
So just to recap, I think what we're talking about here is removing the summer custodian, the STEAM camp,
Not removing it.
or moving it.
We're moving it. Yeah.
We're moving the summer custodian, or we're moving STEAM and moving Hulbert, correct?
Yes.
I just have a quick question about summer custodian. Is this night person? Do they work during the summer? Like, or do we already have two people? No, they don't. Okay.
Currently, they do not. The
Okay.
previous nighttime custodian did not work during the summer. That's not to say that this person wouldn't be the person that would take that, but their salary is just during the school year.
Right. So we're anticipating leaving one person over the summer to get the school ready.
No, we would still have two plus our maintenance department. So we would have
Okay.
3 people. They hire an extra 4th person to do their deep cleaning.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave it down to one. That would be an impossible job. And I'm just looking for cuts. I was looking everywhere for cuts as much as I could.
I clearly know that we cannot cut maintenance supplies. That's ridiculous. We need cleaning supplies. We need tools. We need carpentry items. Like, it makes no sense to even nickel and dime us with $5,000 of supplies.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Vincent. I think that I know our school is extra clean, and I think it gives the kids a sense of pride in the school and probably saves money in the end, and that
Right.
kids aren't, doing vandalism and stuff at our school because they're proud of it. So
Yep.
I think it's best to keep it the condition it's in.
Yeah, maintenance supplies, maintenance repairs, take out. So do you want what the number is going to look like if we do the night custodian to 3.5 instead of 5 hours?
Yeah.
Do the math on that, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Right now, is it 5 hours total?
It's 5 hours total.
So whatever the difference is. And then athletic supplies, yay or nay?
Well, the repairs and maintenance and the maintenance supplies, the two 5,000s at the top, if you take those.
Yeah.
There.
Keep them out of the cut list, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what about athletic supplies? Keep out of the cut list or keep in the cut list?
I mean, that one, I don't know how desperate our athletic situations is. Also, they can do fundraising. That's another one where we can do fundraising.
I mean, I think I'll just jump in for a second on that, but I know that there is already fundraising. There's corporate sponsors for jerseys and equipment. I think that they're maxed out on the amount of fundraising that we can do. But as the program grows, we hear about it every month, and the participation numbers increase.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would take things away that we actually need to better the program.
Okay.
That'd be 14 for the night custodian to 3.5 hours would be 14,831. So I'm keeping a running tally here.
So the savings would be 14,000?
Yes.
No, that would be the cost. The savings would be $6,356.10.
Savings
Okay.
on budget.
Yeah.
We'd be changing the 21,000 to 6,000.
I think that's what she needs. Yeah, the 21,187
Mhm.
would go down to 14,831. The difference being 6,300.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's
Because we're going from
Well, pretty
5 to
big
3.5.
pretty
Yeah.
good savings.
Okay. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is what 1.5 hours.
So, I mean,
I don't see any more cuts on that list that we should be making.
All right. Do you want to share that one, or
I can't share this. I can tell them what the number will be.
okay?
okay, so can we see what it would look like? You don't have what it would look like if we did the night custodian at 3.5 hours. Leave the maintenance supplies and repairs alone, like take those off in this version. Take off the athletics and the classroom supplies cuts. I think I might try and stick with the $1,000 off the principal supplies. I really do think that Four Winds could get a grant. I don't see why it wouldn't. We have some very generous people in the area.
Mark, can you
Mark,
mute?
put
We're
your-
getting a lot of
put-
feedback from your mic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
And I've already gotten offers of people to help with fundraising for it, if that was needed, but I really think it would get a grant. So I'd be willing personally to leave to move Four Winds to being a grant funded instead of a budget funded program. Same thing with Hulbert. So if we could see what it would look like without, so with the 3.5 hours of night custodian, the Four Winds moving to being grant funded, Hulbert moving to being grant funded, Steam Camp moving to being pause, and not having an extra summer custodian. What does that look
Okay, yeah, so to be clear, to keep on the reduction list,
like?
you want 14,831 for the nighttime custodian.
Yep.
You want principal supplies kept on the reduction list, 1,000.
Yep.
Professional energy services, 3,000. Library books and periodicals to take off the reduction list.
Correct.
All right, keep Hulbert on the reduction list. Keep the books and periodicals on or off the 1800 Scholastic.
Take that off.
Got it. All right, and then
Steam
keep the
Camp
keep
Steam
that
Camp's
on
going to pause. Steam
Yeah.
Camp should go to pause.
And do you want the summer custodian on the reduction list or off the reduction list?
On the reduction list.
Okay, so that's 48,309, and what that would do to your tax rate would be a 10.7% tax increase estimate.
Okay.
Wouldn't the night custodian be the 8,000 we're taking away?
I thought it would be the 6,000 we're taking.
6,000 we're taking away,
for the
not
night
the
custodian.
14, Eric.
Because we're
We're not
still be paying
keeping
14,000.
A night custodian. It's just the changing of the hours.
Right. I thought that 21,187 is what they do for 5 hours.
Right. 14,000 is what they would do with
For 3.5 hours, that's good. That's correct. So what's the question?
difference would have to be what we're taking out.
Because we're reducing it by 1.5 hours.
Yeah, so we subtracted that. We took the
Yeah.
full time, it's not full time.
Yeah.
But the full rate right now is 21,000 minus the 635.6 equals 14,831.
But the cut that we'd be taking
That
off
would be
would
the
be,
position, that's how much she's gonna make
that's how much she's gonna make.
for the year.
Yeah, because she's working 3.5 hours now, not 5.
Right, so you would take out 6,000.
Because the cut we're making is only 6,000, not 14,000.
Oh, you're keeping, because
We're keeping
the
the
whole
3.5
thing.
hours, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
all
what
right,
I'm trying to say.
all right.
So it's 6,356. Yeah,
So minus 6,356.
56.
So 39,834 would be 10.8% tax increase. So that's what, like 0.2%.
I got a question on the 2 labor categories.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry. John's got a question.
Okay.
The two labor positions, is that straight salary or does it include FICA and any other benefits they may be receiving?
Yeah, that's total compensation.
Did you have another question, John?
What was that?
John, I thought you said you had 2 things. Is that it?
Just the 2
Well,
positions.
I'm not good at math.
Okay. So I feel like keeping it under 11 is a benefit to getting the budget passed. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if everybody else feels differently, then we can discuss it. But I just think, I mean, I'm not even so certain that, I don't know if y'all remember just the stuff on Facebook before the election and all the talk about, school taxes, and I don't know. There's a lot of that sentiment in our community that people just can't afford it. They can't afford the way the taxes are going. I know a lot of it's caused by the CLA, but that doesn't really help people's bottom line. So.
Well, and the large ticket items are out of our control. I mean, I think that anyone that's going to read into this or about it is going to understand that this is what we're doing today is minor, right? We don't have control over the big stuff. So we've got to educate our kids. We've got to send them to high school. So send it through. I think it will go.
You think the full budget will go?
Well, I think I'm good with the small changes we made tonight, which is not that big of a difference. It shows that we're, trying to be diligent with our duties here. But I think I think that's all we can do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also good with that. I think we can make a good try of it. If we have to go back, if that doesn't pass and we have to go back, then that's when we'll make the harder choices that will affect students. But I don't want to make choices that affect the students. So.
I'm okay with the 10.8 as a taxpayer to keep the school functioning the way that it has. Again, I think we've done everything that we possibly can. So I'm on board with the 10.8.
Okay. And what was the BAC's recommendation? That when they did their cuts, it was still 11.1, right? So we're doing better than the BAC's recommendation, right?
Yeah. Yes, that was before the final.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah, how are you feeling about it?
Sorry, I'm not used to using my phone like this. Better. I mean, there's a few things that I really didn't want to see cut. Again, I just think we're nickel and diming a few thousand here, a few thousand there. But I mean, if it can change the percentage a little bit, I guess, yeah, I'm more on board than I was before.
Okay. And yeah, and I do really think that a lot of these programs they will get funded. I'm going to make a donation. Hopefully other people will make donations if it comes to that. And yeah, I think I've already spoken with Brian about looking for grants, and there are grants out there. So I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that maybe on record tonight we can say that should be an agenda item in our future meetings to follow up on the progress of fundraising and or grant writing, whatever we need to do. And if the board needs to be involved, great, we can do that at a meeting. But I would appreciate an update at our monthly meetings on the agenda regarding the progress of funding programs that we're losing now.
That sounds like a perfect idea. And I'll forward, or I might have already forwarded it to Brian. There's a lot of people offering to volunteer to help with fundraising for Four Winds, and ideas to come up with ways to fund it. So I feel pretty confident that Four Winds is in a good place. People love it. It's not going anywhere.
Hey, Marie,
Yes.
can we make it a standard appeal every month to not just appeal for donations, but for expertise in grant writing? So if we've got anyone who knows of anyone in the general population that has extensive experience grant writing that would like to come help us out at the school, that would be an enormous contribution that would definitely pay dividends beyond the expertise of what we can do as a board, I think.
Yes. And also, someone mentioned as far as Four Winds goes that it can be like combined with other schools. I believe Heartland did cut it. So we're not sharing it with them anymore, which was part of the reason why it's up to $3,000 this year. We used to only pay half of that.
Wasn't it cut from Heartland because they didn't have volunteers at the same level that Weathersfield did?
I'm not sure the reason. I assumed it was budget.
I can speak to that.
Okay.
I can speak to that. No, it was volunteer issues. Basically, they were down to like 2 volunteers, and you can't teach K through 5 with 2 volunteers. So unfortunately, they had to give up Four Winds, which is also another reason why our cost is a little higher. We used to split it with Heartland.
Yeah.
So our school, like I said, I mean, we have like, I think it's 15 or 16 Four Winds volunteers, and it does touch kids all the way from kindergarten to 5th grade. Every class has a Four Winds class. So, it's huge. To me, it's non-negotiable. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll come up with something else. But yeah, it wasn't budget. It was volunteers.
Okay. Yeah. The person who emailed me, they mentioned, like going to other schools and seeing if there was another school nearby. Maybe if, we could try Albert Bridge, or we could even go to, Reading Elementary, or, we could try some of the other local schools.
Yeah, it would
nearby
be
and see
great to
if
share
there's
the
somebody.
cost again for
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
Yeah. So we can definitely look into that as well. Okay. So I guess, can we get the final numbers on that budget that we were just talking about with the cuts that we?
Yeah, so, reducing the budget by 39,834 with the items outlined would bring the total number to $8.891 million and $228. So $8,891,228.
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion, or does someone want to make a motion to approve that budget?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Vincent made the motion to approve the $8.891,228 for the FY26 budget. I guess I'll take a roll call on this one since we're remote. I'll start with Sarah.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Vincent.
Aye.
And I assume Deborah's not on, correct? Just to make sure that we're not.
Correct. She's not on tonight.
Okay. And I am also an aye. That's unanimous.
Okay.
All right.
And just so you are aware, the budget book will be updated tomorrow, and I'll have new sections with a tax worksheet guide that you saw in your board meetings that will be, now that we have a number, that will be in the budget book, along with the property tax input by house value, the table you guys have seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any reason for executive session?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Oh, you got one more question? No comment? Oh, yeah. We got one more comment from the audience, from
Okay.
John.
In a conversation with Larry at the meeting earlier this week, we discussed the yield number. And it doesn't help you guys at March town meeting and vote, but the yield number always, or every time I've seen it, has always climbed some from the December. And the magic number to keep an even tax rate would be, it would have to climb by $500. I stayed in touch with a few people in Montpelier. I'm going to keep kind of an eye on that. That doesn't get voted until May, so it doesn't help you guys at all to make your presentation in March. But there's an outside chance that that will be one of the levers that the legislature will attempt to manipulate. But it also could be, there's the outside chance it would go down if people stop buying cars and stuff with the sales tax. But traditionally, that's never happened. The ed fund is running a smidgen on the plus side, but not an insignificant amount.
Okay. Well, thank you,
That's it.
John. Thanks for
And
some good
Emery-
news.
Anne Marie, can I just say one more thing too?
Yes,
before
go ahead.
we end? I just want to publicly thank the BAC again for all their hard work. They weren't aware of these different changes right now that we just made. So I just want to thank them again for all the work that they put into it and helping this, get us a sound budget to present to our town. So thank you, BAC.
Yes, thank you very much, BAC. I'm sorry, I forgot to thank them myself.
Yeah.
I meant to.
Thank you very much.
Thank them. Yes. And thanks for everybody else for all your hard work. Thanks for everybody for, digging in and seeing what we could do. Hopefully the voters will appreciate it, and hopefully we'll pass our budget in this March.
Mark has his hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Brian, is there any reason to enter executive session to discuss what we were talking about, the costs before, at the beginning of the meeting? In terms of maintenance.
We don't have all that, information right now, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
we
another
can-
thing that I think we should keep an eye on and talk about in the future too, or some of these other ideas that like it was a little too late to try to make some of these cuts, but maybe if we want to dig into some of these maintenance issues and stuff like that, that's definitely something we should be putting on our radar and keeping an eye on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we should probably have maybe some sort of like quick financial accountability discussion at our meetings. Maybe that would be an agenda item.
Yeah.
And I can obviously in my role identify areas that might be a concern.
That's awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, I'll take a motion. Unless does anybody have anything else, Sarah?
I was just gonna say, do we want to add to the agenda possibly just hearing like a report or an update about the maintenance at the next meeting?
Yeah.
What we requested before?
Yes, and we did get. Actually, I don't know if I don't think Jim is here. He was sick today, so I believe he was gonna try to be at our meeting, but he's not. He's out today.
But
So-
he'll come, he's planning to come in February.
Planning on February.
Okay.
I'll talk to Jim this week.
All right.
Okay, great.
We'll
Thank
have a
you.
report in February. Okay. All right. There's nothing else. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Mark?
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.